What's up, YouTube? So I want to come through and talk about light-skinned, mixed, and biracial men who have brown skin and dark skin fathers. All right, and this is a topic that I haven't really explored, although I did do a video on something like this like a while back. Though it's been a while, and on occasions I've kind of had maybe like one or two people kind of request a video about a topic like this, you know. But I sort of hesitated. And I hesitated because, also disclaimer, I'm not the best person to do a video on a topic like this because I don't have a dark skinned father. Thank God. You know, so much of this video is going to be based more so on observations, inferences, and stories that I've heard. And also, even if you like search on like the internet, I don't think really there's much information about a topic like this. I think you're probably more likely to find information about maybe dark skinned women who have light skinned mothers and vice versa, perhaps, but not so much this topic, It's interesting. All right, so let's get into this. All right, let's really dig into this, okay? First and foremost, the dark-skinned father with the light-skinned son. This goes against the colorist agenda, the colorism agenda in the black community, which is dark-skinned, brown-skinned sons and light-skinned mixed and biracial daughters. All right, so this automatically kind of goes against that and throws sort of a wrench into the system. Okay. Many of these men, not all, but many, particularly I think like colorist ones, right? They truly wanted a son who reflected them, yet their choice in a mate did not reflect them. That's really interesting. That's really something to note, right? Because these men are all like they want kids that look like them, but they won't get with the women who would be who would have the best chance of giving them kids that look like them. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you, if that's such an important thing to you, why would you avoid or not have a child with the woman or a group of women who would give you that, who could provide that for you? Colorism is a hell of a drug, right? Like, why don't these colorist dudes, these colorist brown skin and dark skinned men, have logic and common sense? Why? I don't know where. Like I said, they high off colorism. All right, but I will say there's an exception to this, which I'll say is like if both people were like brown skin or dark skin, and the son came out light skin, like Kelly Rowland's son with her husband, that happened. But still, stand up and man up. If you know the kid is yours, then you know do what you should do and step up to the plate and be a good father to your child. You know, like don't write your child off purely based on skin tone. And that's pretty evil, honestly. All right. Also, a sidebar here that I want to go on. Why do so many relationships involving brown skin and dark skinned men breed so much colorism? There's a major underlying issue at play when it comes to brown skin and dark skinned men for something. They are the common denominator in too much shit in the community. Something is up. The thing is, I can't quite pinpoint it, but I'm thinking, and pretty much it just traces back to low self-esteem, low feeling of self-worth, being color struck, that turning into being color struck, It's something, you know. But yeah, these dark skinned and brown skinned fathers secretly, and not so secretly, hate and despise their light skinned sons, their light skinned mixed and biracial sons. They are essentially jealous, envious, and hateful of their own sons. What kind of a weak ass, pathetic, low self esteem, bitch ass nigga feels that way about his own son? Like, really, like, you are just a piece of human garbage that needs to be thrown out. Like, at that point, you are a cancer to the whole community. But like, you know what the fuck I would do if I ever had a brown skin or dark skinned son? Seriously, do you know what the fuck I would do if that ever happened to me? I would thank God for blessing me with the honor and privilege to provide the seed for and to raise a dark skinned son. All right. Vibranium secure. Okay. Game, set, match. It's over. All right. I would be unstoppable. Okay. Because now I can talk all the shit I want about brown skin and dark skinned men. And when I get caught out on some bullshit, I can just be like, I'm not colorist. I have a dark skinned son. Right? But seriously, but you really don't see many, for some reason, I don't think you really see many light-skinned, mixed and biracial men with dark-skinned sons like that for some reason. You really don't see that. You tend to see the opposite more. You tend to see dark-skinned men with light-skinned sons, right? And it does sort of reinforce that dynamic of dark skin being dominant and light skin being recessive, which isn't really completely true, because if that was true, then the child would have came out dark skinned. Let's be honest. Let's be real. But it does sort of reinforce that dynamic as well, you know. But I will say I do have some examples of that in my family, though. You know, I have some cousins who have, you know, they're like brown skin and perhaps maybe even dark skin, but maybe like dark brown skin, and they have light skinned fathers. Okay. You know, I wonder how that dynamic goes too. That's an interesting dynamic to explore. But I feel like that's even more difficult than exploring this dynamic, because you tend to not see that as much. I remember I was like at Walmart and I saw something like that where it was like this light skinned man and he had like a brown skinned, dark skinned son, and it sort of caught my eye a bit, kind of like, because it seemed like I was seeing something that I like, something that's uncommon. So it kind of caught my eye, like, oh, you know, okay, that's interesting. You know, it's just, you know, you tend to not see that as much. And I guess I don't know if this has to do with just, I don't know. I don't know if this is just more, because is this more to do with like genetics, or just maybe light-skinned men not linking up with dark-skinned, brown-skinned women? But that happens. But oftentimes the kids may come out lighter skin, and then it's like, oh, well, the dad kind of determines the skin tone. Well, if that was completely true, then these dark-skinned dudes would all have dark-skinned sons. You know, and that's not true. So it's genetics. It's just like such a random, like, lottery, you know? But I want to be fair, though. I'm going to be fair, you know, and give a shout out to a few brown skin, dark skin brothers out there, you know, who have light skin, biracial mixed sons and are doing the thing, you know. 50 Cent, he has like a biracial son. And, you know, he's always seen with his son, like on like social media and things like that. And I think he also even caught some backlash over that because some people, brown skin and dark skin, probably just black women in general, honestly, but especially brown skin and dark skin black women, were giving him some flack saying, well, what about your other son? Because he has like a son who's like an older son, and his son's more like reflective of him. And I think there's pretty much hinting, doing like a hint, like, oh, you're only doing this because, oh, you have a biracial son, right? You know. And then 50 Cent clapped back. I won't mention the clapback though. But yeah, 50 Cent, he ain't one to just take the higher road. Also, Reggie Bush, he is very happy to have a child who's like, really, he's like his Armenian son. He's not even saying like half Armenian son. He's like, my Armenian son, okay? And he caught flack from, primarily the sisters for that. That's the thing too. I'm like, black women, y'all be fighting everybody's battles, but there ain't nobody jumping to fight your battles. I'm like, shit. Y'all just need to put your ass down somewhere and really just calculate what you need to support and not support. No shade. Let's see. Also, shout out to P. Diddy. Like P. Diddy has a son, Quincy Combs. I believe that he officially adopted Quincy, but Quincy, his mother is Kim Porter, and of course, rest in power to Kim Porter, and condolences to the family. But yeah, not 50, P. Diddy officially adopted and raised Quincy Combs, who is actually the son of a famous light-skinned man by the name of Albie Shore. So, that is a great example of like, okay, this wayward ass light-skinned nigga, totally abandoning his son, his light-skinned son, who is reflective of him, right? And a dark-skinned man stepping up to the plate, adopting him, and raising him as if he was his own biological son. Okay? And also to the point where I think at one point people did think that Quincy Combs was P. Diddy's biological son. Because they were just, I guess, out and about so much with each other. You just seen them a lot with each other. But, it's more like P. Diddy's adopted son, right? And plus, his mother, that, like, Quincy Combs is sort of like P. Diddy's children's half brother, at least the kids that he had with Kim Porter, because Kim Porter is Quincy Combs' mother. And as well, Quincy Combs, like Quincy does consider P. Diddy to be his father because he did play that paternal role in his life. And as well, he said, like, it came up in an interview, but it was like, oh, who gets the Father's Day card? Albie Shore or P. Diddy? He said P. Diddy. And as well, I think he would be very smart to just go along with that because I think, one, he raised them and adopted and raised them, but also P. Diddy has connections, industry connections that he can use. And I think that he has been using. So I think it would be even more in his best interest to be with P. Diddy, But, either way it goes, good things and happy things for them, But yeah, that's, another example. Also, one more example that's not very well known, but there was actually a YouTuber, I believe it's still on YouTube, goes by the name of Nate Flix, right? And he actually shared a very, very interesting story about, I guess, sort of like his origins, where it was like, he was raised in a family where like his parents were both like brown skinned, dark skinned people, and he was light skinned, okay? And I think he probably just went along with it because he didn't know any better. But I think people would sometimes bring it up like, oh, you don't really look like like your parents as far as skin tone. Then when his mother died, his father wound up revealing some information to him that was unfortunately really disturbing. And he shared this story on a YouTube video, so it's not like me just putting out all his business out there, okay? Um, but he said that his father told him that I think more or less he may have been actually the result of a rape, okay? He didn't really go into the details of it, um, but you know, his mother and his father, the man who played a paternal role in his life, raised him as one of their own. They did not make a differentiation or distinction between him. That's why he never knew that anything was amiss or anything was wrong. And of course, when he heard the news, when his father told him this, he then felt really bad about the whole situation, because I think when he was growing up, he kind of used to give his parents like, problems, like, some kids do, especially young boys, right? Getting into shit that you're not supposed to be getting into, right? So then he felt really bad about that, looking back like, oh wow, shit. Like, you doing all this wilding out, and you ain't really supposed to even be here, to be honest. Um, and then he said he ultimately accepts him as his father because he raised him, and it doesn't matter to him. And a bit of a sidebar, somebody mentioned in the comment section that that would be like a very good origin story for a superhero. I kind of think that would be. um, or like some really significant person in like history or something who did something really awesome, you know. Um, but yeah, so you know, I want to put that out there, for the brown skin and dark skinned men out there who do have light skin, mixed biracial sons, and who do very right by them. Okay, so it's not so cut down the middle and so black and white. Okay, there are like other like gray areas and whatnot, and everything's not point blank the same, like 1, 2, 3. You know. But yeah. Also, um, this is a bit of a sidebar too, but I personally would like to see more like dark skinned men and light skinned men team ups in the media. You kind of sort of see that playing out a little bit in the media, but I feel like that was more popular back in maybe like the 90s and 80s, maybe the 70s and 60s perhaps. But more so in the 2000s, that tended to sort of fall off for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. you know. But now when you see team ups, it's kind of like, oh, brown skinned, dark skinned men with white men versus brown skinned, dark skinned men with, light skinned, mixed biracial men. You know. And I would kind of like to see that, sort of promoted in the media a bit more. As well with the women, I would like to see that promoted too. I think that would be a good thing to see. Because the only time you really see it, when it's like in sports, perhaps, in music on occasions, and and in films of a certain nature, where brown skin and dark skinned men and light skin mixed and biracial men want to perform and run locomotives on females. That's pretty much all you tend to see. I'm not sure if you're seeing it in like movies and television. So, yeah. But also, before I go, I just kind of want to throw this out here. I wonder what are the psychological effects on a light-skinned mixed or biracial man who has a dark-skinned black father, a dark-skinned, brown-skinned black father. I feel like they would be less likely to challenge colorism, and also less likely to hold brown-skinned and dark-skinned men accountable for it. Same with, dark-skinned females who have light-skinned moms. I kind of think that low-key plays a factor in some of this colorism too. Because it's like, well, that person played a role in your life and you feel like you may be going against them if you call out their group or the group that they belong to. And that's why I think they may be even more likely to, want approval from those groups, And that's why I think it's something to explore the psychological effects of maybe brown-skinned and dark-skinned men who have light-skinned fathers and light-skinned and biracial mixed women who have dark-skinned, brown-skinned moms too. Those are really interesting dynamics that should be explored, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that out there. Just throw that out there. So yeah, I'm done with this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And please, definitely, feel free to comment. All right? I really appreciate the comments and the feedback. So thanks for watching. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.